Last winter, I cut a section of kitchen drain line out of a 1960s ranch house. The sink had been slow for months, then it quit for good. I put a hacksaw through the white plastic pipe under the cabinet, tipped the cut piece into my bucket, and what slid out did not look like any clog I have pulled in 4 decades of doing this. It was a plug of gray, waxy rock, molded to the exact shape of the inside of that pipe, hard enough to wrap on the cabinet frame like a stick of chalk. The homeowner leaned in over my shoulder and asked me what kind of clog does that. So I told her the truth. That thing was not a clog at all. It was the cure, hardened solid. It went in through the sink strainer about $10 at a time, one red bottle after another, for the better part of 2 years. Today I am going to show you what is actually inside that bottle, the 2 ways it fails in your pipe, and the $1 swap from the laundry aisle that I use instead. And stay to the end, because I am going to total up the 10-year receipt on the red bottle habit next to the 10-year receipt on the swap, and the gap is not close. Nobody reads the back of that red bottle. The stuff has been sitting under American sinks for about a century, and the label gets less attention than the shampoo bottle next to it. So let me read it for you, because once you know what it actually is, everything that happened inside that ranch house pipe makes plain sense. The original version was a can of crystals, invented back in 1923 by a man named Harry Drackett. 2 working parts. The first is lye. Lye is sodium hydroxide, a caustic, which means a chemical strong enough to dissolve organic material on contact. Hair, grease, food, skin. It does not check which one it is touching. The second part is shavings of aluminum metal mixed through the crystals. When lye, aluminum, and water meet, you get what chemists call an exothermic reaction, which just means a reaction that makes its own heat. And this one makes a lot of it. The water in your drain climbs toward boiling. It fizzes off hydrogen gas. And on a bad day, the whole hot mess can burp back up out of the drain at whoever is standing over it. That heat is the sales pitch. Hot lye melts grease soft and chews through hair fast. And that is why the old crystals felt like magic. The modern red bottle most of you buy is a gel now, lye blended with household bleach. And to be fair to the label, they add a corrosion inhibitor to slow down what the mixture does to metal. But it is still lye at heart. It still runs hot. And your drain line is not a test tube. That white or cream plastic pipe under your sink is PVC. And PVC starts going soft around 140 degrees, while the reaction in the pipe can push far past that. Run that cycle month after month, and you're cooking the glue joints. It is like holding a lighter under a plastic bucket handle. Once does nothing. A dozen sessions and the handle sags. On an older house, it is worse. Hot caustic sessions pit brass traps, make old cast iron brittle, and one good splash etches a dull ring into the porcelain glaze of an antique sink that no amount of scrubbing brings back. And that inhibitor on the label is real. But an inhibitor slows corrosion. It does not cancel heat. And heat is the half of the story the label never mentions. The clock on that glue joint starts the first time you pour. You just cannot hear it ticking yet. Here is the reversal that took me years on the job to fully appreciate. Every single thing that makes the product feel like it is working, the heat, the fizz, the fast chew, is the same thing working on your pipe, and it sets up the first of the 2 ways the stuff fails. Think about what a bathroom clog actually is. It is a woven mat of hair, lashed together with grease and soap scum packed into the pipe like felt. Grease is the mortar of that wall, and grease is the only part the chemical is any good at. Pour a caustic on top of that, and the chemistry does what chemistry does. It takes the easiest path. It chews the soft grease core out of the middle and melts a channel straight through, because flowing water pulls the reaction along the open route. The water starts moving again, you flush the drain, and you call it a win. But the mat is still in there, laced to the pipe walls on every side of that channel, and now it is catching fresh hair and fresh soap from day one. 2 or 3 weeks later, the channel closes and you are right back where you started. It is the same as melting a hole through the snowbank at the end of your driveway instead of shoveling it. The car squeezes through once and the first storm fills the hole, and every round of this leaves the grease film a little thicker and the pipe wall a little thinner, so each new clog forms faster than the one before it. You thought the water moving meant the problem was solved. It was maybe 1/10 solved. What comes next is the part that still does not make sense to me after all these years. Because the risk is printed right there in the fine print, and people pour anyway. That first failure is the good outcome. The second one is the plug from my bucket. When the caustic meets a clog it cannot beat, something too big, too dense, or too far down the line, it does not politely drain away. It sits there. Now you have a pool of hot caustic water parked on top of the blockage, eating at your pipe walls while you stand at the sink waiting for a gurgle that never comes. A lot of folks answer that with a second bottle, so now the pool is deeper. And then it cools. The gel, the dissolved soap, the half-eaten grease, the minerals in your water, all of it congeals together into one solid casting of the inside of your pipe. In the trade, we call that a chemical plug, and it is a harder problem than the clog you started with. A snake skates off it. I have watched a brand new cutter head spin against one of those castings for 10 minutes and come back polished. Fresh chemical cannot get a bite either, because the reaction wants heat and motion, and a cold set plug offers neither. On the worst ones, like that ranch house, the fix is a saw. And this is the part that even the folks who swear by the stuff cannot really defend. A product sold to remove a blockage can manufacture a worse one out of its own ingredients inside your pipe. So that is the machine you are pouring in. A heat engine that either drills a temporary channel or sets up like mortar. Hold that picture, because everything else in this video follows from it. Quick pause. If this kind of straight talk is useful, my book is built on it. It is called 100 Old House Fixes That Save You Thousands. And a part of it is this exact skill, knowing when a cheap patch is not a real fix, with printed checklists to tape inside a cabinet door. Grab it through the link in the description or scan the code on your screen. Now, while you have been standing at your sink fighting that bottle, something else has been brewing at the other end of the phone line, because the person you finally call when the bottle loses has developed some strong opinions about it. I know, I am one of them. That service call always goes the same way, and I have lived it more times than I care to count. The homeowner pours a bottle down a dead drain. Nothing. They pour a second bottle. Still nothing. Now they call a plumber, and the plumber walks in to find a sink basin full of standing water that is saturated with caustic chemical. To clear that drain, he has to feed a spinning steel cable down through that water. And spinning cables throw water up your wrists, across your forearms, into your face. Except this water strips skin. Drain cleaners put around 3,000 people a year in front of a doctor in this country, roughly a third of them with burns. And the folks who do this for a living are well represented in that count. So the trade has adapted. Plenty of shops make you disclose what you poured before anyone touches the drain. Some add a hazard charge to the bill the moment they smell it. A few will flat out walk away until the line has been bailed and flushed. My own rule is simple. Tell me what went down that drain before I open the truck, because I am the one about to wear it. And that was not even the part that gets homeowners angry when I lay this out at a kitchen table. The part that gets them angry is the receipt. Walk the cycle with me. The caustic burns its channel. The grease film that caused the clog stays painted on the pipe walls. The clog rebuilds on that film. And you're back at the store. The bottle runs anywhere from $5 for the small one to $15, and up for the big jugs and twin packs, so call it $10 a trip, 2, 3, 4 trips a year, every year, forever. And I want to be fair, because nobody at that company is twirling a mustache. It is plain economics. A product that fixed your drain permanently would only ever sell one bottle. Back when the crystals were king, the television jingle ran, once in every week, Drano in every drain. They said the business model out loud and set it to music. A thing bought on a schedule is a subscription, and there is no money in prevention. Meanwhile, a different meter is running that nobody watches. Every hot caustic session is a down payment on that softening glue joint. And the joint decides when it lets go. Fail under the sink where a man can reach it. And replacing a section might run $150 to $500. Fail inside a wall or under a floor, and you are into drywall and flooring on top of the plumbing. The national average for drain pipe replacement sits close to $700, and plenty of jobs clear $1,000. So what do I pour instead when a drain slows down? Walk about 2 aisles over from that red bottle into the laundry section and look for a yellow box that costs around $5.50. On the back it lists exactly 2 ingredients, sodium carbonate and water. That is washing soda. It is a strong older cousin of baking soda, the powder your grandmother boosted her laundry with, and it earns its keep on grease. Chemists put everything on a strength scale that runs from 0 up to 14. Your dishwater sits near the middle around 7. Washing soda dissolved in hot water sits around 11, which is strong enough to cut grease all night long. Lye is pushing the very top of that scale, which is strong enough to cut you. And alkalinity at 11 does something specific to the fat coating your pipe. It saponifies it. Saponify is the old soap maker's word. It means the grease gets chemically converted into soap, and soap rinses away in plain water. No heat, no violence, just slow, patient chemistry, doing overnight what the caustic tries to force in 7 angry minutes. The box says septic safe right on it, because unlike a caustic, it does not carpet bomb the bacteria your septic tank runs on. Now, the arithmetic. The 55-ounce box holds roughly 5 to 6 cups. A full treatment is 1 cup, about $1 of product. The monthly maintenance dose is half a cup, about 50 cents. That is not a typo, by the way, 50 cents. The whole method, start to finish, goes like this. It is built for the slow drain, the greasy kitchen line, the soap scum bathroom sink, and monthly prevention. First, run your hot tap for a minute to warm the line, and let the bowl empty. If the water will not go down at all, stop. That is a different job, and I will get to it shortly. Second, pour 1 full cup of washing soda straight into the drain mouth, and work it down with a wooden spoon handle if it mounds up. Third, chase it with 3 or 4 cups of hot tap water. Hot, never boiling. The kettle stays on the stove. Your water heater sends roughly 120-degree water to that faucet. Plenty to dissolve the powder while staying well under the 140 where PVC starts to complain. Fourth, walk away and give it the night shift, 6 to 8 hours, because soap making is slow chemistry and rushing it buys you nothing. Fifth, in the morning, flush with your hottest tap water for a solid 2 minutes. On a drain neglected for years, run the treatment 2 or 3 nights straight. That film went on in layers, like wax dripping down a candle holder, and it comes off in layers. Then make the half-cup dose a monthly habit on your problem drains. Prevention costs 50 cents a month. The alternative, as we just covered, comes with a comma in it. My first boss was a man named Walt, running cast iron drain lines before I was born. And he had one rule about chemical drain openers, repeated like a prayer. Never pour anything into water you cannot see through. He watched the trade shift to plastic pipe and warned anyone who would listen that hot caustics would eat the new stuff alive. Nobody listened. So Walt's rule opens the safety list, and this is the part you do not skip. Rule 1, wear cheap rubber gloves. Washing soda is gentle next to lye, but it is still alkaline. It will dry and crack bare hands, and a splash in the eye means 15 minutes of flushing at the faucet. Rule 2 is Walt's, and it matters most after a failed store-bought treatment. If a drain already has caustic products standing in it, you pour nothing on top. Not washing soda, not boiling water, not some internet miracle. You would be stirring a caustic soup that can heat and spit back at your face. Bail that water into a plastic bucket with a cup, gloves and glasses on, then flush the line. And if you hand the job off, tell the plumber exactly what is in that bucket. Rule 3, no vinegar, ever. That famous foaming volcano is an acid and an alkali canceling each other out. So the fizz you're watching is your dollar of chemistry dying in the pipe. And vinegar poured onto leftover caustic can flash heat and spatter. Keep acids away from this whole operation. Rule 4. Know when chemistry is the wrong tool. Standing water that will not budge means a physical blockage, and no powder dissolves a toy dinosaur or a wad of wipes. That is plunger and trap work. And if 2 or more fixtures back up at once, that is your main line talking. And the main line is a phone call, not a pour. Before the receipt, the short list of what-ifs I hear most. Still slow after the first night. Run it again for 2 more nights before you judge it. Years of buildup does not surrender in one pass. Bathroom drain full of hair. Washing soda strips the grease, gluing the mat together. But it does not devour hair the way lye does. Spend $2 on a plastic barb strip. Pull the mat out first. Then let the monthly powder keep the walls too clean for the next mat to anchor. Double kitchen sink with a disposal. Run the disposal clear. Then treat the other basin so the powder reaches the shared trap. Same overnight dwell. Drain smells but runs fine. That is the film going sour, and the half-cup monthly dose is the whole fix. And if you poured the red bottle yesterday and it drained through, flush hot water for 10 minutes. Give the line a full day, then start the powder. Never stack chemistry in one pipe on one day. All right. I promised a receipt, so let us total the decade. The red bottle habit, 3 bottles a year at about $10, is $300 over 10 years. And that is the lucky version where the pipe never objects. Fold in one softened joint, letting go somewhere inconvenient. At that $700 national average for the pipe work alone. And the true 10-year cost lands right around $1,000. Now, the yellow box. $1 when a drain slows, 50 cents a month to keep it from slowing. Call it a box and a half a year. That is under $10 a year, under $100 for the decade, and the drains run better the whole time. One habit costs about $1,000. The other costs about $100. That gap is the whole video, and it is why the next time a slow drain sends your hand toward that shelf, you walk the 2 aisles over instead. I will leave you with this. My house went up in 1961, and the kitchen still drains through the pipe it was born with. On my basement shelf sits a yellow box of washing soda with a faded price sticker from a grocery store that closed 20 years back. $1.79, it says. I have gone through maybe a dozen of those boxes in 30-odd years under that roof, and in all that time, not one drop of caustic drain opener has passed through those pipes. A pipe does not need rescuing if you never send in the thing it needs rescuing from. If you want the rest of the playbook, the book is 100 Old House Fixes That Save You Thousands. It is written to spare you overpriced service calls and arm you with the questions that get a contractor quoting you straight. The link is in the description. And subscribe to Roger the Pipe Guy, because every week I put out more old house fixes that keep money in your pocket. That is the whole story on the red bottle. Keep the kettle for your coffee, keep your $10 bills in your wallet, and I will see you under the next sink. This is Roger. Take care of that old house.